Hello, my friends.
Thank you for joining us for the PEBCAK Podcast, a weekly information security show featuring some all-around good people. It is week 33 of 2022. I'm Chris Louie and broadcasting live from Black Hat in Las Vegas. With me, I have the hot dad who came out of hiding to join us in Vegas.
Literally the hot dad, Chris, in his infinite wisdom, in the desert, does not have the air conditioning on in his hotel room. It is hot as balls in here.
And he's closed the curtains.
That is for audio reasons. So if you haven't noticed, the audio sounds a little bit different because, number one, we're all sitting in the room. Number two, this mic is extremely sensitive. So if the windows are open, the sound bounces off the windows, creates an echo, and it picks up literally everything, so the AC will be noticeable to our listeners. So I'm thinking of you, the listener, to improve the audio. And we have Glenn Medina, who joined us in Vegas, marking the first time we have all been in a room together since Costa Rica last year.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. What is this? Podcast number 73, right?
Yeah.
And first time ever recording together inside of a room.
It's a Christmas miracle.
Very much so. Happy to be here. And it's late in the evening, and we've had some fun in the festivities during the day on opening day of Black Hat. Great time.
No guests this week, just the three of us recording a special episode live from Black Hat. Combined, we have decades of information security experience and are here not just to educate, but to entertain. We've got a special episode of Ask Me Almost Anything.
Yeah, Chris, I am married and I have kids. Don't embarrass me on here, man.
I'll try not to.
Thank you.
All right. So my first question, what is your go-to drink of choice at a conference party?
Oh, you guys all know me by now.
Tito's.
It's my uncle, right? And on ice, a little lime, or sometimes if I'm feeling a little spicy, a little dirty with a couple olives. Like I said, it keeps the COVID away.
It does. I mean, you guys are both COVID free
so far.
Yeah.
But I did bring something special for you guys this week.
Monkeypox.
The answer is no.
You didn't rub it up on somebody we don't know about.
We brought the vid with us. That's our Black Hat present.
Yeah. Surprise. No. So what do you guys think? Do you think I go to like liquor or just like a beer for my go-to?
Well, if today's any indication, it's liquor.
Whatever, you don't know me.
Well, I know it's not wine. That's for sure.
Never gonna be wine.
Not a wine drinker.
My go-to is a Stella Artois. I bet you
get out of here.
Heck yeah, man.
No way.
I've literally never seen you drink a Stella.
Brian, I've known you for 2.5 years now. I've never seen you pick up a Stella.
And this is the second time we've been in the same room together. Now you know why. Well, on that note, by the way, the three of us could have been together last week, but Chris wanted to, do his daddy duties at home. He's gonna hang out with us.
Or Glenn could have joined us. So there's that too.
Glenn was there.
I was there.
No, the next day when I met with you, Glenn could have.
Well, that was during the day, though.
We have day jobs.
Yes, Chris.
I do enjoy good Tito's and Red Bull if that is available, but at some of these conferences, they have that limited cart of liquor that they cart around. So it would be a Peroni if they have it. I like Peroni, the beer. Otherwise, a vodka ginger ale.
Your garbage can said otherwise.
But hold on.
It Schlitz for some reason.
Not going around Black Hat, but if you were to go to a bar, what do you order?
If it's a bar, it's definitely vodka Red Bull.
Really?
Yeah.
But I've always seen you drink a Moscow Mule.
Yeah, or a Moscow. I guess it depends. So it depends if I'm in polite company and drinking Red Bull is not socially acceptable in that instance. Then yeah, I go to a Moscow Mule.
When is it never socially acceptable to have a Red Bull with? What'd you have with vodka?
Yeah, vodka Red Bull.
Vodka Red Bull. All right.
Does brand matter? Does brand matter?
I would rank them. So Tito's first, Belvedere, Grey Goose, and then everything else is not very good.
I don't think I've heard of any of those except for Tito's because of you. So, all right. My turn. While you get your questions ready, Chris.
Go for it.
All right. So, what is your favorite feature on my body?
Your body. So we're making, of course, Brian's question would make him about himself.
Oh,
yeah. About that.
And the follow-up question to you is, what is your favorite thing about me? I'm just asking you questions that my wife asks me in the middle of the night when she can't sleep.
Yes, you're beautiful.
It's got to be the beautiful bald head. It's always the first thing I notice about you. First thing other people notice about you.
I'm jealous. I can't grow a beard. I can't grow facial hair. And that's an intimidating look sometimes.
It's probably the follow up. So the big bald head and then the epic beard.
I had 100% not anticipated you guys actually answering that question. It was more of the punchline of what my wife talks to me in the middle of the night about. So, all right, good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bald and beautiful. All right,
that's right.
I'm digging it.
All right, I got one for you guys. Sleeping at night, are you above the sheets or below the sheets?
I'm American. I'm not a terrorist. Of course, I'm below the sheets.
Yeah, below the sheets.
Really?
Sure.
What about you?
I am above the sheets.
You're above the sheets?
Yeah.
Are you wearing like a robe? Just a sock?
Just socks. My sock puppet.
A sock. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Really above the sheets?
Yeah.
I get your comforter all dirty and everything?
I prefer not to use sheets. I like to set the room not hot like this it is right now, but I do like it comfortable. Yeah. I do like it comfortable.
What do you keep it at, your house?
The house in the summertime stays at about 78.
78. You guys are complaining about 72
in the winter time. That's 78 because I'm cheap. And I keep it at 68 in the winter time because I don't want to heat the house.
Well, I sit the windows open to cool that off, you know.
Really?
Oh yeah. What about you, Chris?
I was thinking if there was a hot thing because Vacaville does get pretty hot, but then Brian, it gets even warmer where you are. So no, I'm definitely an under the sheets guy. And actually, I read something about that because there's a debate on Reddit about it a while ago of why people like, even if it's hot, extremely hot, like you have to have like a thin blanket or something on you because it has something to do with being in utero as a baby, that you're comforted and you're surrounded by, this something. And then, when you're after you're born, then you have to be comforted by something that's around you. So that's why people want a sheet around, even if it's a thin sheet and it's really hot. Some people just need that.
I thought it was in case you don't want your big fish plate hanging out in case the kids walk in.
Well, that's their problem.
Yeah.
I always tell my kids, like, the room, that's my love sanctuary. Like, you guys are not welcome in here. Stay out.
We have a coworker that him and his wife have a hot tub in a part outside of his house in a certain direction, and him and his wife have intimate time in this hot tub, and they have like 4 or 5 kids, and the parents, mainly the dad, warns them, says, if you do not want to get scarred for life, do not look out this direction of the house at this hour.
Oh boy.
Well, speaking of,
why don't they answer, you jerk?
Hold on. Speaking of blankets, right? Have you guys heard of this craze that's going on? They're called weighted blankets.
Yeah,
we had one. Yeah.
So I got one for Christmas, and I told my kids return it.
Yes.
Do you like them?
I've never used it.
Yeah,
I've never used it.
It was cool for like a couple of minutes. And this thing's heavy.
I felt like I was getting choked out.
Yeah.
What's the purpose of it? Is it just so they don't fall off?
Well, that's that whole in utero comfort thing, right?
Compression or
in
something.
Uterus?
In utero.
In utero.
In utero.
So I keep my house at 70 at night, and it was a ceiling fan, and then one of those Dyson like fans blowing on us as well. It's like a
air
damn wind tunnel. It's like a wind tunnel in there.
That's cold.
Oh, that's great. You know why? When my wife gets cold, then she's got to cuddle. I'll let you guys fill in the blanks.
There you go.
Life hack for all you guys out there. Also, P.S. Get rid of the TV in your room.
Yeah.
Can't fall asleep to TV. What are you gonna fall asleep to?
Yep. Life pro tip.
Chris is like, damn it, I had to edit this out.
Demonetized each.
All right. Well, in the spirit of us all being here in Las Vegas, do you guys have any funny gambling stories?
I'm gonna say it's funny as much as I was here for, I think, less than 12 hours. And we were waiting for some friends, and we were at Excalibur. This is back in the day we had change, right? And they went to go buy beer from AM PM. I'm like, you just get free beer if you just walk around long enough. And so as we were waiting, I pumped like 75 cents into a machine and won like $2,500.
Nice.
And I'm like, at that moment in my life, I've never had that much money. Like, I've never even seen that. Like, I was just blown away. I came home with negative $300. I was only there for 12 hours.
Gave it all back to the house and
something like that. It was terrible, man. And that's when I learned no more gambling for Brian Beach.
I went gambling, had a very successful night at the craps table. It's Indian casino craps. So you're throwing dice, and the dice represent an odd or even number.
Okay.
And
was this in California?
Yeah, it is. And then
I remember
they cards.
The cards. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I guess there's some law that Nevada lobbied and said the Indian casinos in California must use cards, and it's a lot less exciting.
Yes.
And it's a lot more random.
But we had this guy throwing this artificial dice or die, whatever, plural for them. And he threw the dice for 3 hours. Never crapped out, either hit his point, made point, or just continued to roll. And at one point, at about 2.5 hours, he says, I got to use the bathroom.
No.
Everyone was like, no, just yelling. And then one guy handed him a cup.
It's like a thirst buster, like 44 ounces.
Do your business. We'll all turn away.
Yeah,
just keep throwing.
You just got to keep throwing. I looked at there. I was like, oh, I can't look at this. I just turned around.
Oh, did he go?
Yeah. And it was just, everyone was like, what's going on over there? There's a crowd of people around him. And yeah, needless to say, he rolled for another 30 minutes and I made a lot of money. So
dang, how much money do you think you made? Did you retire?
No, nothing like that.
So that's interesting about craps. So the shooter is just another player. They just happen to roll in the dice. It's the people that are betting, with or against the shooter that make a lot of money. So yeah. I remember one time we were out here playing craps and Grace was throwing, and I forget the exact odds, but you should get, after the point is established, you should get a 7, 1 out of every approximately 7 rolls, because 7 is the most common number. And I think she went for probably like over 100 rolls, I think, and made a lot of people a lot of money. Like I'm pretty conservative when it comes to craps, but there's some people betting a lot, and yeah, they were very thankful that she had a hot hand that day and didn't crap out.
Is that your story?
No,
or just relating? Okay,
I'm just relating. So my I guess I have two stories. So one's not as funny. It's probably more funny for anybody that's in the card counting community. So back in college, we had an Indian casino near us, and because we were a bunch of college people, we were all studying like engineering, so we were a bunch of nerds. I got into card counting, and the book. So if you read the book on blackjack, there's a specific action you should take for every result, for every card the dealer shows, and every total that you have. There's a specific action. There's no intuition. There's no good luck feelings. The computer in the book says you must do this and you'll get the highest expected outcome from it. So that's called playing by the book. But when you play by the book, your behavior should change when the count of the deck changes. So if there's more 10s in the deck, that's in your favor because you get more 20s, you get more blackjacks, the dealer busts more. And I was playing at some blackjack table, and soft 18 is an ace and a 7, and in 99% of the circumstances you should stay on the soft 18. But for this situation, the count was telling me to hit on soft 18, so I did it, and then the dealer announced it out to everybody, and so the pit boss could hear. It's like, look at this guy, he's hitting on soft 18. And then I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. And then I guess I did it again, with the same dealer, and he announced it again to everybody, including, so the pit boss here was like, this guy's hitting on soft 18, like he knows what he's doing. I just thought that was hilarious that, I don't know, he figured that I was either very dumb because you shouldn't hit on soft 18 normally, or clever for being able to count cards and change the strategy based on that.
Hey listeners, I just wanted to make one small clarification. Hitting on soft 18 is actually not that unusual. There's multiple occasions where the book will tell you to do that. The unusual move that drew the attention of the dealer and the pit boss was doubling down on soft 18. So I just wanted to throw that correction in there. Now, back to the show.
Did you win?
Yeah,
I won. Yeah. Well, yeah, the odds were in my favor. I hit on soft 18, and then
it's like Hunger Games. Maybe the odds
be in your favor.
Yeah.
And then I guess the other funny story was it's probably a couple of years after I graduated from college. It was out here in Vegas. So we had gone clubbing, and it was probably 1:30 or 2 in the morning, and there's a group of us. So a group of us went clubbing, and we all sat down I sat down at a blackjack table because there was like only one seat at this lower limit table. I think it was $10 table. Everything else was 25 and up. And I was playing blackjack, and like I could tell like the people I was with wanted to play. So then I started acting like pretty obnoxious at the table. Like I was screaming, I was yelling, and it's a very fine balance, because if you act too obnoxious, the pit boss will kick you out. But if you don't act obnoxious enough, the table won't clear. So I had to get that balance together. So I was screaming and being obnoxious until the table cleared. My friend sat down, and then I switched back to normal mode.
That's interesting, Chris.
Can't see Chris acting like that at all.
A little Jekyll and Hyde over here. What's going on?
It is, yeah. So in blackjack, a card that is worth 10, so the 10 or the face card it's called a monkey. So if I had an ace, I would yell monkey, 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 and I'd slam the table, monkey, monkey, monkey. Or if the dealer had 12 or higher, I would just yell monkey, and I'd slam the table and just try to act as obnoxious as I could without getting kicked out, of course. But it worked. The table cleared. I got to sit with my friends. We played for a while, and I didn't get kicked out.
I think blackjack is my favorite because that's one game you can literally play for hours, and maybe break even.
Not true.
Not for you.
You can play craps all night long if you just play the pass line and 6-8.
Yeah,
all night long.
Even odds. Yeah.
Let's go. Wrap it up, guys. No more questions.
What are we doing here? But you can't, great odds if you play that. But
the best odds is don't play.
Yeah.
House always wins. Yeah. So if you play by the book, blackjack offers the best odds of losing the least. So I won't even say winning, because for every single game in the casino, your expected value is always negative. Blackjack, playing by the book, you lose the least. But if you just want to not think about it, then Glenn is correct. The pass line on craps is the best bet. And then pretty much any of the numbers, if you bet on any of the numbers, they pay pretty even on that as well. Like don't do the hard 8 or the field or anything like that. Those have pretty bad odds, but the pass line and then the numbers.
Those are called dummy bets.
Yeah. Sucker bets.
Sucker bets.
Just like insurance. Never, ever buy insurance on blackjack. Never.
So if you get like 2 10s, you split and double your bet every single time?
So that's in advance. So if you play by the book, you never split 10s. But if you count and the count is sufficiently high, then you would split the 10s. So you always split 8s and you always split aces.
Okay.
But never split 10s unless you really know what you're doing.
I definitely know. What if they have like
Brian's
multiple
taking
decks?
notes. Well, most of them now are 5 card decks, right? Or 5
deck.
5 deck.
Yeah, 5 deck
Shoes.
Yeah. So that's another thing. So a single.
It's gonna be hard to get it count then, right?
Not necessarily. No. So if you do the high-low method, it's pretty easy to keep track of. The single deck blackjack, now they pay 6 to 5 on blackjack instead of 3 to 2, which is a sucker's bet. So don't ever play single deck if they pay 6 to 5. But a 5 deck shoe is your best bet, I think nowadays, as long as they pay 3 to 2 on blackjack.
Look at Chris, Mr. Ratios over here.
I know. Have you ever played a 52 pickup? All right.
My wife plays Casino War. Have you guys ever played Casino War?
No.
So it's literally you get a card, the dealer gets a card, and whoever's card is higher wins. So
okay. Yeah. That's like the war that you play at home.
War.
Yeah.
Okay. It's Casino War. Yeah, she likes that one. It's easy, and it's the expected value is still pretty high. I think the way the house makes money is that if you go to war and you tie, then the house wins. That's where they make their money, because it's literally 50-50 who gets the higher card.
Next question. All right.
Question.
If you guys don't know right off the bat, I think then I'll answer. But if you had to go back in time, you have to rename your kids. What would be your top 3 baby names?
Top 3 baby names?
I wanted Crispy, but that got vetoed very fast.
I can get that.
You probably got a slap on the back of the head too, right?
That was mine, Crispy.
Were you serious though?
I wanted Crispy.
Spell that for the audience here.
JA''CRISPY.
Why?
Why?
You have a name or a reason behind it.
It's hilarious.
So you want your kid to be made fun of throughout their whole life?
Yeah, Crispy.
It's a crispy Louis.
Yeah.
All right.
So
What
that's
you
one.
guy?
What, you didn't want King?
King Louis.
Yeah.
Crab Louis.
Yeah. King is good. Or a Louis.
I went to school with the King Louis, actually.
Did you really?
Yeah, in high school. King Louis, LUI. But yeah, I went to school with the King Louis.
Hmm.
I would definitely go with Trigger,
Trigger?
Cement Truck, or Truck Stop. I think those would be some pretty cool names to have for kids.
Truck Stop Beach.
What?
Yeah,
Really?
like why not?
Hmm.
We went to a baby shower the other day. I was trying to suggest baby names like that, but she was not trying to hear it at all.
Yeah.
If I go back in time, the song wasn't, maybe that song was famous back then. Funky Cold.
Funky Cold.
Funky Cold.
Medina.
That's it.
Funky Cold Medina.
Yeah.
All right, I'm digging that.
When we were naming our daughter, there's actually an app. So there's a phone app. So similar to Tinder, you have two people
Tinder
and
program.
you sync your profiles together, and you swipe left and you swipe right, and it only displays the names that you both agree on. So Grace and I actually did that, and we got a pretty good list of names that we're going to name our kid, and then we eventually settled on the ones we did.
Maybe I'm a little older because I didn't have that app. What, this thing called the book?
The book, yeah, he had the baby name book.
Baby name book.
Yeah. Do you guys have any rituals based off of the names that you guys gave?
Rituals.
Yeah, like so my wife's got a cousin. The father's name begins with a J. The mother's name begins with an I. So therefore, if it's a boy, it has to begin with the name has to begin with a J. If it's a female, a girl, they have to begin the name with an I and not recycle the name.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I'm just asking. That's
So my wife's, my wife's side of the family, it's her sister's Kate, she's Corinne, Caleb, and then Gilbert Jr. It's all C's until you get to the last guy. He's like, I don't understand.
is it because he's the boy?
Caleb is a boy as well.
Oh, okay.
Did they just give up at that point?
I don't know. Yeah,
Gilbert Jr. though.
Gilbert Jr.
I take it the father was Gilbert Sr.
you nailed that one, brother.
Glenn,
So he
sharp as a
he
marble.
tried 3 times to get Gilbert inside there, and then finally on the 4th one, the wife gave up.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
That's awesome. Going back in time, right? And we talk about this, and we talk about in our proposed book here, change in what you took in college, as far as for your career, and would you have done anything differently for your career?
Good question. I think about that, and I think I would say more so earlier in my career. People have asked me that. Now I'm so far into my career, like I don't even list my college on my resume anymore. I don't think so. I don't think I would have changed anything. For those of you that look me up on LinkedIn, my background is political science and business administration, which literally has nothing to do with security, IT, tech, or anything.
That's why you suck at your job.
Yeah, that's why I'm bad at my job.
But he writes really great blogs.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think I might have actually talked about it on the podcast before, but like studying international relations, studying how two states, approach each other with diplomacy or war, that's very similar to what we see on the battlefield, the sales cycle. How do you negotiate with something that's not acting rational? How do you implement something like mutually assured destruction, that if you do that, well, I'm going to do this and nobody's going to win? I think that translates well into sales. And I just think that college teaches a lot of soft skills. So when I get the question, is college worth it? Will you ever get a return on your investment for a college education? That's coming to debate more and more now. And my answer has always been yes. So even if you study something that's not related to your career field, like we work with people that are lawyers, that were former lawyers, they have their JDs, work with people that have their MBAs, and they do nothing related to that.
We also work with former people that were selling Red Bull.
Yeah.
So-
We work with felons. Yeah. So, but learning those soft skills, showing up on time, learning to take a test, having a long-term goal in mind or working towards that. I think some of the soft skills you learn in college, interacting with people, learning to be a normal person, don't show up smelling bad to class. Like I think those skills translate well to the workforce.
That's a thing. Not showing up to class smelly.
Yeah, well, if you do, then you're like a social pariah.
That's true.
So it's social outcasting. You don't get that because there's a rule in place.
Yeah,
It's because it's socially unacceptable. So therefore, your peers or your classmates will address that situation.
correct. Yes.
Okay.
So I was gonna try to back into this creatively and like kind of paint a picture of like a blood spatter analyst, but like paint the picture of Dexter, but it's way too graphic for this thing. So I can't like, yeah. So I just need my mom to be murdered in a, you know what I mean? Like it'd be
In a
found
shipping
in full
container.
blood by a cop that adopts me.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys would have caught on to it. No, I don't know. I'm kind of with you. I mean, I do love my job. I don't think I could ever do anything else. One thing I think would be kind of rad though is like anesthesiologist. You can't even say anesthesiologist.
Anesthesiologists, they
Yeah.
get doctor paid a lot.
They do. I mean, I don't know that they necessarily make more than us.
They
to be
do.
honest with you.
They do.
Maybe not in Arizona.
Yeah, in
But-
California they do for sure.
I'll disagree with you.
That
Maybe
Yeah, they-
private practice
and
anesthesiologists.
they're miracle workers too.
Yeah.
Like when my wife was giving birth to our son, and she gave birth to him naturally, and yeah, the second that they put that needle in her, it's like it's like night and day difference as you would expect it to be. But yeah, they do good work, and it's very difficult work, and they do make a lot.
One thing I didn't know until my son recently went under, that doctor had to stay in the room during the entire operation. I thought he just dope him up, peace out, right?
Yeah,
No,
no, in case they
I
wake
don't-
up. Yeah, they gotta
Yeah.
be there. And they have to like slowly bring them out. They have to, yeah, there's I think there's a science to it as well.
So I've been in those surgeries.
Okay,
Yeah. So
as
it's an
being
interesting
operated
thing.
on.
No,
Or
as
sitting-
as part of the surgical team. So
Okay.
my previous life as a dental
Hygienist.
hygienist / oral maxillofacial surgical assistant. Those are things that we did or I've done. So I've seen
Okay.
it. I've seen trauma. I've seen doctors, put people out. It's an interesting
Yeah.
thing. I'll be honest with you. I'm glad I left that behind. If there's anything I would have changed, it would be I would have done something a little differently in the military. I still would have gone, but after the military, I don't think I would have gone and been a customer.
Yeah.
I would have
knowing what you know,
knowing what I know now, I would have went straight into sales and
Yeah.
maybe not even sales engineering. I probably would have just went sales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point that you bring up. I didn't think about it. Usually, anytime you have to interface with a doctor like that, it's you fasted all night long. They know exactly what's going on. I can't imagine like you're like taking some sort of like victim of a car crash. You have to sit them under, right? You have no idea what's really inside their blood. Oh, that'd be wild. Okay.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a trauma doctor, like or an
Yeah.
ER, the ER surgeon, like you just come in and they're bleeding and you don't have any back, so you just have to know that stop the bleeding, save the patient.
That's wild. All right.
Yeah, we have a friend she's a nurse, and she was an ER nurse in Stockton, California. And for those of you who don't know about Stockton, California, look it up. There's a lot of gang activity there. There's a lot of violence, a lot of shootings, a lot of stabbings, and she's definitely seen some stuff. She has some stories, but then she eventually moved on to a different hospital. But yeah, being ER nurse, ER doctor, trauma doctor in a very rough area that's literally a trial by fire.
Sounds like a wonderful place.
Second murder capital of the world next to Richmond, Oakland.
No, I think
Yep.
Washington DC still has that, or Chicago now maybe.
Hmm.
All right, I think it's my turn. Are you recording us separately?
No, I am not.
Interesting question, because I have a Vegas related story to this. Have you ever been hit on by another man?
Yes, absolutely.
Have you seen Brian? Yes. I'm constantly hitting on him.
Well, it's funny, the other day, or I think it was last night, I came back to the hotel room and I was like, hey, am I on speakerphone? She's like, yeah, they take me on speakerphone. It's like, hey, I got news for you. And she's like, what's going on? I was like, I got hit on tonight by someone. And she's like, why are you sound so happy about it? Because it was another dude. So, not weird at all.
Yeah. How about you, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. There are some men that get offended by that or are take an opposite reaction that you have. But I'm with you that if another man hit something. I'm like, oh wow, you have very good taste in men. I like your approach. I actually probably should have told this as my funny Vegas story when we had Marcus on the podcast. But the last time I was in Vegas for Black Cat, I visited Marcus. He lives off the strip, and I ended up taking an Uber pool to go visit him because since this is not company related, I was paying for it out of my own pocket. And as Brian would call me out, I'm a notorious cheapskate. So I did the Uber pool.
Frugal.
I did the calculation in my head because I'm like, I'm going off strip from the strip. There's not going to be anybody else that wants to do that. So I'm going to pay Uber pool prices for the UberX experience. And going there, that was correct. Coming back, it was not. I left Marcus's house in the Uber pool. Then he came, we picked up another passenger about halfway through. And we drove into this housing development here in Vegas, and it was gated. And then the Uber driver was trying to message this guy, like, how do I get in? I can't get in. Like, I literally can't get to you. You have to open the gate or you have to come to me. And then I guess the guy came out from the housing complex and jumped into the Uber pool. But then there's another gate to get out. And then the guy's like, well, how do I get out of here? Can do you know how to get out? And the guy said, no. And then he said, well, whoever you're visiting here, can you call them and ask them how to get out? I said, no. So like we were stuck in this complex for a while until we found like this alternate fire exit to get out of this place, which I guess if it was a real fire, we probably would have been screwed. But so this guy was there and he had no idea how to get out. So like that was kind of a red flag.
Sketchy.
Yeah. And then we were driving back to the strip, and then like he just starts like eyeballing me. I'm like, okay, no, this is kind of unusual.
All right.
And he's like, hey, you're kind of cute. It's like, hey, do you want to come back to my room with me? I'm like, oh no, thank you, but sorry, I'm just picking up my bag and I'm going to head out of town. And he's like, well, definitely take down my number. Next time you're in town, give me a call. And I'm like, okay, yes, I will do that. And then it made for a very awkward Uber pool ride until we got back to the strip. We picked up like 3 more people. So that was definitely a miscalculation on my part, taking the Uber pool back to the strip, but going there, yes, coming back, no.
So I'm hearing this correctly. You only said no because you're getting ready to leave.
No, I wasn't. I actually wasn't getting ready to leave. That was my excuse to not hurt.
Oh, you're being quiet?
Yeah.
All right, Chris.
No, I had like 3 more days of DEFCON.
Grace, if you're still listening, his phone number is still on his phone.
Monkeypox might be real.
That was my funny Vegas story. Guys. I bet Brian you probably get at the gym. Do you get at the gym at all?
No, never.
Huh, okay. Yeah, I guess you would think it would happen more at the gym, but I think the gym is like there's an unspoken rule. I'm here to work out. I'm here to leave. I'm not here to mingle.
Yeah, headphones on and a grimace on my face. Like I'm not there to chat.
Look how mean he looks. Imagine with him sweating. Maybe
I'm pretty sweaty right now because we're AC on in this damn room.
So that's that. We do that for you, for the listeners. Brian is suffering for the listeners. So you don't have to hear the AC in the background.
So I've had an incident.
Kind of an incident.
I was at a Starbucks waiting. I was picking up my daughter from Sac State, and I'm sitting there and just minding my own business, doing some work. And some guy comes up to me and says, hey, those are some really nice shoes. And I'm thinking, just regular shoes. What the heck? And I didn't think it even. I was like, hey, thanks, appreciate it. He goes, what kind of shoes are those? And I told him, and how long have you had them? I'm like, oh yeah. And he's, he chooses to sit with me now at this 2-person table with my laptop. Yeah. And he's drinking coffee, and I'm just kind of nodding my head, and I didn't want to be rude. No. And I think at that point in time, I didn't, I wanted to be nice, and I politely told him, well, I'm just here. And I made up an excuse, and I went to go pick up my daughter, which thank God I had to go do, right?
Yeah.
And then I was telling my daughter about it, and she goes, oh my God, Dad, he was trying to pick you up. And I went, no way, right? So we get home, and my daughter's laughing at me. She tells my wife, and she goes, Mom, some guy tried to pick up Dad at Starbucks close to Sac State. And I'm like, no. And my wife and my daughter are laughing like, and so I go through the story, and my wife says, oh yeah, he was trying to pick you up.
Yeah.
You don't know the social cues.
Yeah.
Speaking of missed social cues, like fresh into college, like I think when I was like 18 or 19, I actually started shaving my head, not baking it, but I was just shaving it down. And I was leaving the library at MCC. So I'm going out, and this guy approaches me, and I'm just not really paying attention to anything, but he kind of interrupts me. He's like, hey man, proud of who you are. And I'm like, well, yeah, yes, kind of. Yeah, you know, like, what do you mean? And then I take a step back and he started asking me more questions. And like this thing kind of has a surprise in like the Cosby Show, right? I look at him like, oh, wait a second, he's got a shaved head too, or shaved head as well. And he's got like a white shirt on, and he has camouflage fatigues and army boots. And then it clicked in like 5 minutes of the conversation. This guy's part of the Aryan Brotherhood. He's trying to recruit me. I'm like, dude, I gotta go. Like, I am not your guy.
That's hilarious.
Started wearing a hat all the time.
That's funny.
So hold on, take this a step back, and let's forget another guy, another girl tried to pick you up, another female, in the time that you had been married. Have you guys chatted? Did you guys were dismissive, or did it fly over your head like it did me?
Oh, if it happened, I missed it.
Yeah.
I just realized I have the wrong mic selected.
You've been doing the MacBook Pro the whole time?
I have been. I didn't check this the Yeti.
Well, it sounded pretty good before, right?
Yeah, let me see. This is part 1. All right, we are back. And if you can't tell, the audio has changed a little bit because I was on the wrong microphone. So the first part of this episode is going to sound different, a lot different than the second half. And I'm sitting closest to the computer, so I'm probably going to be very loud, and I'll have to take care of this in post.
What an idiot.
We don't have the Zoom recording either, do we?
We do, yeah. So I had the Zoom back up, and the Zoom had the correct setting. All right, so back to Glenn's question. Have you ever been hit on by another female? Is that the question?
Yeah. Let's just flip the shoes. Just make it even, right? So that way we're not picking on one sex or the other.
All right, yeah. If it's happened to me, I have no idea. I'm oblivious to it. I'm dumb.
Yeah, see, that's my excuse too. So,
that's your excuse,
that
jerk.
Not my excuse. So that's my reasoning as well. That looking back when people point it out. So just like people pointed out for Glenn or for you. When people point out, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see how that was. But I was pretty oblivious to social cues, I would say. So it's at the time I probably didn't realize it. Much later, in retrospect, I think I realized it.
Yeah.
I will say, well, let's say that it did happen, right? I would say that the guy, right? He might have been pretty handsome. I don't know. I'm not going to say, but the chick was definitely built like a bag of mashed potatoes. No, I'm just kidding. I did it for funniness, guys.
Yeah.
Don't listen to me.
I have a story for you guys. So I have 2 kids at that time. No young one. Had this really nice pickup, lifted 4x4. I think it was a Nissan Frontier, right? Big tires on it. And I'm driving on the freeway, tinted windows, and this car just keeps wanting to go next to me. Like, what the heck is this car doing? And I finally notice, and there's like 2 girls like waving at me and trying to get my attention. And I'm like, what the heck?
Gas tank's open, isn't it?
And no, it's like and I'm like, what? Right. And they're like, giving me the call me sign, right?
Okay.
And I'm like, well, that's kind of odd, right? And they're trying to tell me numbers, and I'm like, I don't got time for this. I'm trying to get to Sacramento, right? I think I'm gonna go visit my mom and dad at that time. And they were like, no, call me like that. And in the back were the 2 kids in the car seat, so I rolled the windows down and I went like this. I pointed back to the back seat.
Yeah.
And they finally got the picture that I had kids, and they kind of went on their own.
Yeah.
So, but I told my wife about that as well, and she kind of laughed. So,
it's funny.
That time I wasn't so oblivious.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, yeah. Beyond me. All right, whose question is it now? Is it mine or is it Chris?
It's yours.
Okay. What commercial jingle gets stuck in your head all the time? Like, you should just know it right off the bat. Like, my wife asked me this question, I knew it. I was like,
really?
Slap Chop.
Slap Chop?
Yeah, Vince with Slap Chop.
Let's hear it.
It's not so much the jingle, it's that somebody auto-tuned his voice and made a rap video out of it.
Really?
Do you remember the Slap Chop, Vince?
No.
Yeah, I remember.
Hi, I'm Vince with Slap Chop.
I don't remember the auto-tune, though.
Hi, I'm Vince with Slap Chop. The more you slap it, the finer it gets.
Yeah. But
I'll link in the show notes. Yeah, it's hilarious. There's a hilarious story about what happened with Vince with Slap Chop as well. If you look it up and see his story, but
Yeah, it's the Slap Chop Auto Tune remix.
All right. Never heard of it. What about you, Glenn?
Oscar Mayer Wiener.
All right, let's hear it. You gotta sing it.
No, it's been too long.
My baloney
He has a first name. It's Eoney, right? Nope, not gonna get it out.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Mine was I love chicken. I love liver. Meow mix, please deliver.
Yeah, mix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I'm in the shower, just washing this glorious bald head of mine. I love chicken. I love liver. Like, I don't even understand why it's in my head.
Yeah,
It won't
have
leave.
cats.
And I hate cats.
Yeah.
The other one that I would do is it's peanut butter jelly time.
Oh,
peanut
That's
butter
not a
jelly
jingle.
time.
That's a song.
I know, but it's still it's catchy.
Oh, if we're going that route, then I believe the question was specifically about a jingle.
Okay.
Oh, so yeah, you're right. It was a bad jingle. My stepdad, for like, I don't know, for as long as I've known him, his song, he'll always just like hum it or sing it. He'll go, "Strangers in the night," and then but he doesn't know the rest of it. All he hears, "Bum bum bum bum." doo-doo-doo-doo. I'm like,
Dad, you gotta learn the words.
that's the only part that he knew. But like, it was just wild forever. So
It's like that scene in Bad Boys where they know the Bad Boys chorus, and then they're like, "Dude, you gotta learn the words," because they just ad lib it after that.
all right, Chris, you're up.
I'm up.
Yeah.
What was your guys' first experience with alcohol?
Boy, this has nothing to do with IT at all, does it?
No, it doesn't ask me anything. Like, we warned the listeners. This didn't
Yeah.
ask me anything. I guess I didn't specify that this is
My
not
first
IT
experience
related.
with alcohol,
Yeah.
or the first worst experience from alcohol.
This first.
Just first?
Yeah.
I was 21. Oh no, you're right. I wasn't 21.
I feel like I was 12.
I can tell you the one that sticks out the most was, it was high school. Stealing liquor from my mom and dad's cabinet. You know, the little bottles. My mom would bring them the little bottles from
Minis.
work. And I would replace the vodka with water
It looks the same.
and reseal them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then sitting there giggling while we were eating dinner. So,
Dang, how old are you?
God, I'd like to say 14, 15.
Dang,
Would you get drunk off it? Like, your parents
Yeah,
didn't
I do.
notice anything was off?
I would
after you
drink
ate
what is that? 2 shots, right? 2 ounces inside those things.
something like that.
That's a
yeah.
lot
One's
for
pissing in the
14.
corner again.
Yeah, I'm not. I
One
didn't.
shot, I think.
I think I barely weighed 100 pounds when I was that age. Yeah, when I joined the army, I was only 105.
Oh my gosh. I think I was in second grade when I weighed 105.
But you weren't buzzing or anything around your parents. Nothing threw it off. That tipped them off.
I can't remember. That I can't remember. I just remember that I was, like I said, I stole liquor from their liquor cabinet. And that was my first
That's pretty predictable.
Yeah.
How about you, Chris?
So mine was keeping on brand. Mine was actually pretty responsible. So I actually didn't drink until I was 21, and I didn't drink in like my early college years. And I was also the last one of my group and my friends to turn 21 due to how the school systems work out here. I was always the youngest in my class, so I was the last one to turn 21. So I actually had what you would call tour guides for my first drinking experience, and it was still in college. And then we went drinking and went to the bars, and I had people like looking out for me and making sure I was drinking responsibly and warning me what would happen. That's, if you drink too much, you're gonna wake up randomly at 4 a.m., have to go to the bathroom, and if you don't feel well, the best thing to do is just sit out on the balcony for a bit and get the cool air on your face. So I actually think so my first experience with alcohol is probably a positive one, because I had basically like a tour guide. Like, I knew what to expect and I had people looking out for me. And one of the things that made me think of this question was there's a province, an area in Canada called Nunavut, and they only recently legalized liquor there, or alcohol there, and they didn't have that. They didn't have previous generations that had consumed alcohol and knew how to drink responsibly. And then the town just went out of control. As soon as the floodgates opened for alcohol, town went out of control, crime went out of control. So, I think that was the opposite of what I had. I had a pretty positive experience because I had people looking out for me and mentally preparing me and telling me what to expect. So yeah, like I said, on brand, pretty low key and pretty responsible.
Right on. Mine was, so I grew up with alcoholic parents that like legitimately went to AA. I spent most of my formative years sitting in AA meetings, so I was always deathly afraid of drinking because I thought my mom would just know. Meanwhile, my little brother was drinking at like 13. She had no clue.
Yeah.
She scared me into it. So unlike Glenn, but like you, I was almost 22 because I was the oldest in my peer group.
Oh my gosh.
Before I had my first drink. And I was young. I was impressionable. I was a huge Tupac fan. So guess what my first drink was?
Hennessy.
Ah, close. Alizé.
And
I was like, the orange juice is bad. It's bad, guys. You can't drink it. So I think I took maybe a shot total. It was hard to even try to down it. And then that was the end of my night. I was like, whatever. Drinking's whack.
Yeah, being the last one to turn 21, so my peers and my friends had already figured out the bar scene, the club scene in our college town. So it was a pretty smooth experience. So I benefited from them coming ahead, and at the time it was unfortunate because when they went out to the bars I had to stay back, but then I had the benefit of them forging the road ahead for me, and then when it was my turn to go, it was pretty smooth sailing.
Did you guys ever do the life hack where you would just you weren't old enough to drink yet, but you couldn't go to the club, so what you do is you go to the downtown, you'd go watch a movie that gets out right around 1 o'clock in the morning, and then when all the drunk people are walking out of the place, that's when you start to intercept the low-hanging fruit. No? Just me.
Well, what movie theater gets out at 1 a.m.?
There was always midnight movies, so we would, yeah.
Bars are open. People are going from the midnight movie to the bars at the same time.
Well, no, I would go to the movie,
okay,
right? And then leave the movie, and then the bars would be closing down.
Oh,
That's when
I
all the
see.
drunk people were coming out, and so we'd
Gotcha.
do our best to pick it off. It sounds so bad now.
So along those same lines, and I like to add things to these.
Yeah.
Great questions. Well, what age were you when you had your first hangover?
Probably 22, 21.
22.
Yeah, it probably wasn't that many more times after my first outing that I experienced a negative effect the next morning.
How about you?
I feel bad, man. I think it was 16, 17.
I'm
Yeah.
considering you started so young, I'm surprised you made that.
I was
far.
just tasting it at that time. I didn't,
Yeah.
My dad does yell at me. He did yell at me about that. He tells everybody that I stole all the liquor.
You did. And you resealed it.
And I did. I
Like a criminal
I
mastermind.
replaced everything with colored water.
Yeah.
So I think he threw all those bottles away after he
My
realized
parents
it
are
was
stupid.
Yeah.
They'll never know.
I'm bad. Whatever you do, don't copy what I've done in my life. So I've got one for you guys along the same lines. As we just to talk about what we've done in our fields, and we didn't all start in security, right? We did something. That being said, I started out in the help desk, and as I was trying to go through the help desk, I was trying to apply for a job as a network administrator / system administrator. What have you ever caused an outage that was system wide? and
Duh.
and did you own up to it?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. And what was it?
So as Chris thinks, mine was, we were doing PCI scans, and we had to disable the HTTP connect verb on usairways.com.
Okay.
And we had an F5 load balancer there, so I wrote an iRoll to basically say if, when HTTP request equals HTTP connect, basically drop the connection, right? And then I put log local 0. This connection was dropped. Double quote, end, and then they got flooded. It filled up the disk of the load balancer and caused an outage.
How long of an outage?
I think the problem that was with it was actually Web Accelerator was a product that they had, and when I created this outage, it fell back to the Cisco. And at that point in time, they weren't doing the SSL decryption, but we were, and so it was a bad thing that took a while. So
Hours, days?
Yeah, a couple hours. And at that point in time, .com was probably bringing in $1 million per hour. So revenue generating impact.
Yeah.
And then the like it starts off like, what the hell's going on, right? It's just the manager, and then all of a sudden it's the manager's manager. You just have like to train the people, and just like, and like, you know what I mean? Like, well, it failed over for some reason. I'm trying to figure out what's going on, and then you realize you open up a TAC case, and FI score comes up like, yeah, you filled up your disk, man. That stupid eye roll you wrote. I'm like, oh.
So you didn't realize it right away that it was the...
No, it took a while.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't think I ever caused a system-wide outage. Like similar to you, Glenn, I started out in help desk, then sysadmin, then tech support. And I remember tech support, I told somebody to do something which I thought would work. It was basically, if you reset your device, we had a password manager built into the device that we had. And I said, well, you reset your device, your password manager's backed up to the cloud. So just reset your device, reinitialize your device, and then restore for backup. I didn't know that if you reset your device, it actually removes the backup that was created for it. So there's a sysadmin was not happy. I deleted all his passwords.
Whoopsie.
Whoopsies. Yeah, and I owned up to it. I asked my manager, like, what can we do about it? And the system was designed to be pretty secure so that you couldn't restore something once it was deleted, but they did some magic on the back end, and they eventually were able to get this guy's stuff back. We had to go through a lot of rigmarole to make sure this wasn't some kind of social engineering attack. I'm like, no, I screwed up. This is why we're doing it. This isn't some kind of red team test or anything. And we eventually got his passwords back. Yeah.
What'd you do, Glenn?
The first one.
How much time you got, boys?
That was a good one. Like I said, I think my first time I was working at my way to become a system admin, network admin, and we were at an acquisition, and we were importing new users into AD. And so what it is I would run a script that basically takes the users, run cackles on it, and then apply that policy into AD by script, right? By DOS or some Perl script. Anyways, what was hilarious was I didn't know that you had to close the text file. And if you didn't close the text file, it couldn't read the file. So it started deleting everything in AD.
Uh-oh. Gonna test it out.
So it started deleting from A all the way to M.
Damn.
Last names.
Like halfway through the alphabet.
Yeah. It also deleted administrator. So that was an A.
Yeah.
And these are domain accounts, right? And what was odd was I was looking at it and it said deleting, and it was going so fast that by that time I saw it and it registered in my head because I'd stood up, took a deep breath. I'm like, okay, I'm writing this script. And I looked at it again. I'm like, that bad feeling you get when you just totally screwed something up.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
It was the pucker factor. Like, what did I do? I did a Control Z, killed the script. Control C break, killed the script, and then I realized that I couldn't log in, and it was like, oh, I just deleted M, which is Medina.
So you had to find somebody in the later part of the alphabet.
Yeah. So I had to call my boss's boss, and we had to. It was a weekend, so they had to do a restore from tape.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was a while. And
at least it was on the weekend, so hopefully no production loss or minimal production loss.
Yeah, but the CEO was affected because he was a G.
Couldn't he have been born with a different name?
Yeah. Anyways, I'd like to say it took like 8 hours to restore from disk, A to M.
That's not. In the grand scheme of things, it's not too bad. Yeah. But time is money. Yeah. I'm sure there are some IT admins not happy with you having to work the weekend.
Yeah. And the other good one was, do you remember the Catalyst 4000 switches? Right?
Cisco.
Yeah. From Cisco. And then that was our core. And then we were adding Catalyst 1900 switches at the remote location. So kind of the starfish type thing. And, I failed to turn off spanning tree port fast. I don't know if you guys know this, but when you don't turn that off and you plug in another Cisco tree,
broadcast storm.
Yeah, it's a broadcast storm, and I was knocking out the refinery network like every other day because I was adding switches. And I was sitting there going, "What's going on? Why is everybody complaining? Why is there an outage?" And
Thanks a lot, Mr. CCNA.
Yeah, so there you go. New guy, new network administrator. You learn fast. You learn to not do that anymore. So thank you, Cisco, for that whole great protocol called spanning tree. I never saw a reason to turn it on. I don't know if you guys ever did, but I never thought. Maybe there's a listener out there that's listening and go, "Hey, yeah, you use spanning tree the right way to do this."
Because anytime I import my Active Directory accounts during an M&A,
yeah,
spanning tree's on.
Yeah,
that makes no sense.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. Any others? No.
No, I think that's not the only one.
Chris? No?
No, I think that was...
Wow, I must have screwed up royally a lot.
All right, whose question is mine?
Yeah.
All right, what is the worst advice you've ever been given? Mine's go kill yourself, so top that.
What?
I don't know if I can top that.
Yeah.
Worst advice I've ever been given. And even a lot of good advice. I'm trying to think of what the worst one would be, though. What's the worst?
I faintly remember you telling me to hold stock in a particular company.
Yeah, I try not to give financial advice.
Yeah.
Hey, let's all go buy some ish coins.
Yeah, whose idea was that?
It went up 5.13% this,
today.
Down 90%, up 5%. That's fine.
Right in the wave, baby.
Riding a small wave. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I know there's like some troll comments, like troll people out there trolling advice that says like, oh, in the winter your engine might freeze, support antifreeze where your oil normally goes. Like I've seen things like that. I've actually never done that.
Well, considering you have an electric vehicle, that would be insane.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how I would answer that. What's the worst advice I've ever? It's probably something.
Yeah, I think of all the advice that I've gotten, either good or bad, it was a learning lesson for me. Yeah. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I've always tried to learn from all the mistakes that I've made. And trust me, kids, if you're listening, I've made plenty and I still continue to make mistakes.
Yeah.
So,
I do pride myself on never making the same mistake twice, though.
That's the golden rule, right?
Is it?
The golden rule.
Says the guy who says, should we double down on these crypto coins that are down 90%?
I bet the golden rule is eat an apple a day keeps the doctors away. No?
I think it's do unto others as you want them to do to you.
No, that's not
it.
It 100% is. Oh, gosh. All right.
Anything else?
I can't think of anything.
I have a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
All right. We'll do one more, and then I think this is getting a bit long.
All right. Well, fine. I actually had questions for both you guys, but I can't get a hold of Rosie, so I want to go to Grace. So this is like the newlywed game. So we're going to compare answers and see how well you do. So for everyone listening, Grace is Chris's better half.
I'll give you Rosie's number.
Well, I didn't want you to know. And he freaked out on the way over here. He's like, I can't believe you have direct blind access to my wife. All right, so there's actually 3 questions you have to answer. We'll do a rapid fire. So number 1, what is your best physical attribute that you think your wife likes?
The hairline, at 100% the hairline.
The fact that you have
wrong.
one.
It is
the fact that you have one.
No, it is actually your smile and your eyes.
Yeah.
Oh.
If I had taken that question seriously, I probably would have said that because she has told me that. But my joke is always, I have the amazing hairline. You couldn't even pay to get a hairline this good.
Oh my gosh, he actually believes that. Okay, who said "I love you" first?
She did.
I think I did.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. Did you
really? I thought we talked about this in Costa Rica.
I don't think so.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did.
The last 3 reasons why you cried.
The last 3 reasons.
Skip.
All right. I'll let you get that one. All right. Who wears the pants in a relationship?
The wife, always. Right?
She said we both do, but her pants are slightly longer than everyone else's. You're a good sport, Chris. Thank you for playing.
Yep.
That's it. Good job, Chris.
Glenn, you couldn't get any good questions out of him.
Out of who?
Glenn. for Glenn?
No, I didn't have a chance.
She didn't.
To
I
ask
wouldn't.
any.
Yeah, he doesn't have Rosalie's number.
Well,
So-
you can ask him the questions, and then we'll ask her separately.
Oh,
Well, the same 3 questions then.
Yeah.
All right. What do you think your wife would say your physical attributes are?
my legs.
Your legs.
Yeah,
Those
I had
chicken
great legs when I was younger.
Oh.
I was a runner. Come on,
you
man.
were a runner.
Yeah.
Probably still are.
I had a great tan too.
In those military short shorts.
Yeah.
All right, and then all right, same thing with Chris, who said I love you first.
Oh, it was me for sure. For sure.
And last 3 reasons why you cried.
Yes, that's passed.
You guys are wussies, man. And then last one, who wears the pants in the relationship?
Oh, definitely her.
Oh boy, okay.
How about you?
It's like we have shared responsibility. So in terms of who wears the pants for it's different for different things. I think we have a good partnership, and we divide it evenly.
Maybe that's the secret to happy marriage.
Yeah.
So if I had to answer my own, I have no idea what she would. Maybe my smile. I think
The big bald head.
the big old bald dome. She definitely said I love you first.
Really?
Yeah. Last 3 reasons why I cried. Definitely when my mother-in-law died. That was a rough one.
Yeah.
And when my son was going through that thing going on with his neck, that he's been successful, that kind of, when he was cleared from it, and like everything was okay, it came down on me. I was like, oh dang.
Yeah.
And I can't think of a 3rd reason why he did. And then who wears the pants in the relationship? Definitely me. There's no question about that.
Well, we'll ask her later
Oh, you
on.
can,
We'll
yeah.
confirm.
Yeah, sure.
Cross-check all these stories.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Well, we continue to get great comments about our dad joke of the week.
Dad joke of the week.
This week I will go because I didn't ask either of you to come up with one. Which actually, so funny story. When we were at Black Hat today, so I was on booth duty, and Brian and I were closing up shop, and our entire team had basically abandoned us, and they left behind the headset that you use to give a pitch or give a talk. We were supposed to have a theater. And I just put on the headset. I'm just going to start telling dad jokes. So I just called up people walking by. I was like, hey, Joe, hey, Steve, let me tell you a dad joke. And I just do dad jokes on demand. So if you stop by the Z-Squid booth at Black Hat, I definitely probably told you a dad joke. It was the last hour of the show today.
They were cringy too, man. They were.
Yeah. I got some good laughs.
Yeah, they were good.
All right. So the CEO of IKEA was recently elected the Prime Minister of Sweden. His first task is to assemble his cabinet.
Wah, wah, wah.
I like it. That's a good one. Who wants Cheez-Its?
Yeah.
I think are we going to go get pizza?
Yes.
Pizza time?
We should.
Heck yeah. We're going to Cosmo, folks.
At
Meet us out there.
12:48 in the morning.
Yes. Meet us there.
All right, well, that's all we have for this week. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. You can find us all on LinkedIn. Links will be in the description. Follow us on Instagram at PEBCAK Podcast. Thank you to all our listeners and subscribers who rated us 5 stars in the iTunes Store and Spotify and left us a review. We appreciate you all spreading the word to help grow the show. The best way to find us is to search for the PEBCAK Podcast in your favorite podcast listening app. For my co-hosts Brian Deach and Glenn Medina, I'm Chris Louie. Thanks for listening. We'll see you all next weekend as always. Have a nice day.
Later,
Bye,
folks.
Felicia. Oh,
Bye, Felicia.